In the world of behavioral science, it is often stated that one's diet can heavily dictate the type of individual they will grow into be. It is for this reason that when behavioral science is taken into the context of criminal interrogation, several interrogators will often ask the suspect as to what they had for breakfast. If the suspect claims to have eaten cereal this morning, for instance, typically they will be released on the spot, as there is no evidence of wrongdoing. However, studies have shown that individuals who consume large amounts of cabbage are more likely to commit violent crimes. And it is for this reason that if the suspect responds that they had eaten cabbage this morning for breakfast, they are immediately arrested. Scientists are unsure exactly why cabbage is able to influence an individual's brain the way it does, but it's often speculated that cabbage is such an undesirable food that only somebody with a guilty conscience would be consuming it. It is a means to punish themselves. In the 1970s, serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer had been known to consume massive amounts of cabbage on a daily basis. It was reported that he had a fridge full of cabbage soup, as well as a cabbage garden located inside of his apartment. Initially, the authorities had no reason to speculate that Jeffrey Dahmer was anything more than a chocolate factory worker. However, one day at the chocolate factory, one of Dahmer's associates had noticed that Jeffrey Dahmer's breath had smelt like cabbage. The associate immediately contacted the authorities. This information was enough to warrant a search of Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment. Upon entry of Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment, the authorities reported that they were horrified. One of the police officers had stated, and I quote, "There was so much cabbage. So much cabbage. How could anybody eat this much cabbage?" There was so much cabbage, in fact, that we almost overlooked the fridge full of corpses. At 11:30 p.m. on July 22nd, Jeffrey Dahmer was arrested. His trials began on January 30th, 1992. The courtroom had never seen this much cabbage in their entire life. And at this particular time, Jeffrey Dahmer had been away from the cabbages for so long that he began to think rationally again. Most of the interview footage that we see of Jeffrey Dahmer was within this time frame, where he seemed sympathetic and guilt-ridden. Although when observed under a microscope, we can see that Jeffrey Dahmer felt no true guilt for his crimes. He was able to think rationally at this time, but this does not mean that he was free from the control of the cabbages. On the morning of November 28, 1994, Jeffrey Dahmer was murdered by 2 inmates in prison. His body was discovered on the floor of the bathrooms in the gym. He died of severe head trauma.